Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. As you can see from the dripping water, it's in the 40s today. It's going to be briefly in the 40s today, and then it's going to get cold again back into the teens, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to get inside the beehive there and put in a Winter Bee Pro patty mix, because I'm getting a little paranoid about the bees in there, whether they're getting or have sufficient food supplies. I did put the honey on top there, but I left an inner cover, so I actually have two inner covers in. So I'm not certain if the bees are able to get to the honey. So I'd like to, I don't know, I was going to take the inner cover off that I left on, and I was wondering whether or not they have, grown used to having that inner cover on, or the whole hive is based on having that cover there. And if I was to remove it, I'd change the temperature dynamic in the hive, and it wouldn't be as warm as they're used to where they're located right now. So I'm not certain if that sudden change would have a really detrimental effect on the hive. But yeah, it's pretty warm right now. It's approaching 2 o'clock. Actually feels pretty warm with my black coat on. So I did see one bee here that's dead in the water, so I don't see any activity around the opening. So yeah, I thought I'd get in there and put in a bee patty. Yeah, so I thought I'd get in there and maybe keep that inner cover still on. I don't know, I'll see what it looks like when I get in there. And there's the amount of dead bees at the opening. I can hear bee activity in there, so that's a good thing. I really hate to disturb them, but I have to check to see how they're doing. Oh, there they are. All right, so I have a bunch of bees here, and there's a bunch of sugar here, but they're not really venturing up. I've got some dead bees here, and they're all guarding the entrance there. I'm really concerned about getting in here because I don't know where the queen is, and I don't want to squish her. Let me put this inner cover on here for a second with the burlap so the heat doesn't fly out of there. So they haven't even really touched the honey. There's the occasional bee stuck in there. They probably have succumbed to the cold once they venture away from the mass of bees. So maybe I'll get in there more aggressively and maybe change some of the outer frames if I can with honey frames. I don't know, or remove this inner cover. But I'm kind of concerned about doing that. But maybe that will, I don't know if they have brood. I'm wondering if they will abandon the brood if the temperature dynamic changes, where the warm air is more up in the top honey box nuke. It has changed. They don't have this block here that they've grown used to. Am I overthinking it? I don't know. No, I've seen people go in their hives in a lot colder conditions than this to put in, fondant or some type of bee patties. So it's not that bad today, but still a little nervous getting in here. Oh, it figures I need to get my hive tool because that's really propolized in place. Okay. Oh, it looks like there's a lot of food in there. So you can see here the bees. And there's the clump right there with some fondant and bees hanging there. So I'll just put in some more of this fondant here. I think their stores are empty. They look like they have I see a lot of empty caps on these frames. So I wonder if I could change out some of these frames and put some honey frames in. Okay, at the last minute what I decided to do was take out this spacer here, which is supposed to help you so you don't have to drill holes in your boxes. You can add an entrance, but I don't like the gap. I think there was still too much of a gap that they wouldn't jump onto the honey frames. So, I mean, when you think about it, I had this and also the inner cover on, which added more of a gap. So actually, what was this underneath? I think something like that. So there was more of a gap to get to the honey. So they're not as mobile when it's really cold. So I decided to, although they're used to coming out from there, now they'll have to come up across the honey frames to get out. So hopefully that's also going to let water vapor get out, and hopefully I did a good thing. Hopefully this is going to benefit them through the rest of the winter. So now I'm just going to retape everything. I could come back and drill a hole in the nuke box. Just noticed I don't have the handles on this one. So that's enough meddling on my part. Hopefully I made a good decision and this will help them get through the rest of the winter, make it into the spring. I don't know if anyone else out there read that story about those idiot kids in Iowa that destroyed 500,000 bees and all the beekeepers' equipment. I forget how many hives they had, but I think it was maybe a $60,000 loss. And they're probably not even going to be prosecuted. The latest I read was that there's some agricultural laws that have never been enforced. So I was hopeful with the initial story there was some federal laws that were going to put them into serious trouble, even though I think they're like 11 and 12 years old. but they're probably not going to get any punishment whatsoever. But I can't imagine how much work and effort goes into trying to make a living off of bees, and raising bees and harvesting the honey and distributing the honey. You know, here I am with just 2 hives, and it's a lot of work. So, yeah, hopefully they'll make it through the spring. So this is New England Gardening. Thanks for watching.